Masks and women. That was 3 years ago, when I was a senior in college. I had received a job offer from the company I would be working for in the spring, and I was hanging out with my girlfriend and her friends every night. As I was spending those helpless days, there were days when I couldn't see everyone. Yes, I was bored. So, with summer vacation coming up soon, I headed out to see my maternal grandfather for the first time in a long time. The place where my grandpa lives is deep in the mountains. I can't tell you the name of the place, but it's so rural that there are no outside lights or convenience stores. I took a 2.5-hour train ride to get there. It was already night when I arrived at my grandpa's house. My grandfather's house was very old. There were a lot of things that I didn't understand. One of the strangest things was a no mask. They were very old. And I heard that it causes paranormal phenomena. I have it hanging on the wall, and I heard that it floats alone at night and wanders around the house. I grew up hearing such stories from my mother, so every time I went to my grandpa's house, I would ask him about it. Has that mask moved lately? This time, over dinner at my grandpa's house, I asked him, "Does that mask still work?" Grandpa said he didn't know because he didn't sleep in the room with the mask. And whenever we talked about the masks, he always said to me, "That mask is the guardian deity of the house, you shouldn't be afraid of it." But I was bored in the countryside, and my curiosity got the better of my fear, so I sought stimulation. I decided to sleep in the room with the masks that night. My grandpa laughed and said it was okay, and I knew nothing would happen. Now I'm not sure if that decision was a good one or a bad one. Well, anyway, I kept my eyes on the masks for a while, killing time with my smartphone. Then I ate too much dinner and started to get a stomachache, so I went to the bathroom. It was an old house, but the bathroom was clean, and I don't usually feel scared, but I was thinking about the mask, and it was about 2 a.m., so I was a little freaked out. When I finished my business and was about to stand up, the door of the bathroom started to shake. The rattling got louder and louder. Then I started to hear a knocking sound mixed in with the rattling sound. I knew in an instant that the mask had arrived. I started to feel really cold and scared, and I wanted to call my grandpa, but for some reason I was not able to voice it. In addition, I started to smell something around me that smelled even worse than the smell of weeds being cut with a mower. Then I sat down on the toilet seat, apologized in my heart, and kept praying to God. I don't know what I apologized for, but I was going to ask for forgiveness anyway. Then I remembered that I hadn't flushed the toilet yet, which was strange at such a scary time, and I decided to flush the toilet anyway, so I stood up from the seat and turned toward the toilet. Then I saw something and froze. The bathroom at my grandpa's house has a small window for ventilation by the toilet tank, and a strange woman was trying to get into the bathroom with her upper body sticking out of the window. It's not a big enough window to let someone like that through. I thought for sure it was a ghost. The woman had short hair and a white face, but she didn't look like she was laughing, crying, or angry. It just kept coming towards me, little by little. The door to the bathroom was still rattling, but I was more scared of the woman. She was about as fast as a slug, but she was slowly coming closer and closer. I opened the bathroom door as fast as I could and ran out. And when I opened the door, the mask was floating just as I had felt. I was scared, but I was less scared of the floating mask than I was of the woman behind me, so I left the bathroom and headed toward the mask. Then, the floating mask approached me at a very fast speed, and the mask stuck to my face. I was surprised at how sudden it was. And I fainted right there. I still remember the moment I fainted. I fell down, feeling scared, wanting to take the mask off my face. The next day, my grandpa found me lying in the hallway, and I told him about the woman in the mask that happened last night. Of course, my grandpa was surprised and worried about me a lot. He didn't seem to be interested in the masks, and only asked about the women. What did she look like? What did she wear? To be honest, I didn't remember any of those things. But when I told him, his face turned mysterious. I smelled something after I cut the grass, and I happened to turn around and there she was. He said, "You don't go to the bathroom. If you need to go to the bathroom, do it in the garden. I'm going to bring Yone." Yone is an old lady who lives in the neighborhood. She used to be the daughter of some shrine and is said to have spiritual powers. But I was afraid that if Grandpa left the house, I would be alone, so I said, "I'll come with you." Then he said, "You can't leave that mask. Never." And I was supposed to stay at home, but I was so scared that I turned the TV on blast and waited. Then, surprisingly, he came back soon. I think it was about 5 minutes. It was really quick. Yone was the first to ask, "Kazu-chan, are you okay?" and came to me. By the way, Kazu-chan means me. I told Yone everything that had happened last night. Yone said, Yeah, you've had a very scary experience." I was disappointed to hear her reaction. I thought Yone was a good person, but I didn't trust her. However, I felt that it would be safer to have anyone by my side than to be alone. And Grandpa and Yone were discussing it in a somewhat serious manner. "Do you think the mask will help Kazu-chan?" "Maybe Kazu-chan will have to make a deal with the mask." I think it went something like this. After the conversation, Yone set up the mask on the desk in front of her using one of those book stands. Then she said, "Kazu-chan, pray with me that the mask will help us." Then, Yone started to chant some kind of spell. I don't know any spells, so I just clasped my hands to the masks and prayed in my heart. "Please help me, please help me." When I had prayed for maybe 10 minutes, the mask started to shake a little. I was so scared that I couldn't close my eyes and stared at the mask. And the area started to smell like that mowed grass. It was much stronger than yesterday. I had a flashback of yesterday in my mind and threw up on the spot. Then I felt something was there, and I looked into the corner of the room and saw the woman I saw yesterday. Yesterday I could only see the top half of her body, but today I could see everything. The woman was wearing a white kimono and was standing with her hands out in front of her. In her hands, she was holding a red ball of yarn. I was so terrified that I screamed out loud, and my grandpa rubbed my back and said, "It's okay. It's okay. It's okay." He also cleaned up my vomit. Both Yone and Grandpa seemed to be able to see the woman, so Yone made the spell louder and Grandpa sat between me and the woman to hide me. But the woman was still standing there, looking at me. She didn't come close to me like yesterday. I was scared for a while, but I persevered and prayed, and then I heard the sound of walking on the tatami. The woman was standing still and not moving, so I looked around and saw a brown baby crawling around. This baby was getting closer and closer to me. Moreover, it seemed that this baby had that smell. I was so scared that I wanted to pass out. Then, Yone told Grandpa, "If Kazu-chan doesn't make a deal with the mask, his life will be in danger." Grandpa said, "Can't you do something more?" But Yone shook her head. Grandpa looked kind of sad, took the mask off the desk and said to me, "Put this mask on. It's a guardian deity, and it will protect you." I don't know what's going on anymore, but I put on the mask as soon as I saw the brown baby coming towards me. Then, a woman standing in the corner of the room started scurrying around. And she started to wander around the room. She seemed to be looking for me. She was looking into my face and tilting her head. After a while, she gave up and disappeared, shouting. The moment I realized it, the baby was gone too. After that, I passed out, and when I woke up, it was already evening. Yone had already left. As soon as I woke up, Grandpa made dinner for me. Then he said apologetically, "Kazu-chan, from today on, you can live with me in this house." When Grandpa said that to me, I didn't think. Why? I knew he was trying his best, and when he told me not to leave the house in the morning, I kind of knew. He said, "Actually, you were possessed by Otsuru-san. I'm sorry I couldn't protect you. But the mask is protecting you, so from now on, don't worry. However, the mask can only protect those who live in this house. So you'll have to live here from today. I'm really sorry." Grandpa cried and bowed his head to me. In the end, I decided to stay here after that. I had no other choice. The masks are supposed to protect anyone who lives in this house, and it's okay to go out or stay out for a little while. After that, I followed in my grandpa's footsteps and became a farmer. My grandpa told me about the ghost of the woman afterwards. Her name is Otsuru-san, and she seems to be the woman that my ancestors were engaged to. I don't know why, but it seems that her family was ostracized after the engagement. So they broke off the engagement and the ancestor married someone else, but Otsuru-san was so sad that she committed suicide by jumping off a cliff. Moreover, I heard that she had a child in her belly. I heard that the ancestors and villagers took pity on her and brought her family back to the village, but she seemed to have a huge grudge against them and sometimes haunted the boys in my family. Everyone used to die because of it, but when I consulted with a traveling monk, he gave me a mask. Since then, the masks have protected the family. Grandpa didn't seem to know the details. And the spell Yone said was to ask the mask to comfort Otsuru-san. Sometimes this works, and sometimes it doesn't. If it works, they are not bound to this land and are free from the fear of Otsuru-san. If it doesn't go well, they say they will live in this house with the masks protecting them at all times. I ended up in the latter pattern. I didn't like living here at first, but now it's quite fun. The line is slow, but we have internet. And I haven't seen Otsuru-san once since then. Maybe she's out there too, but I don't think she and I recognize each other. These are the scary stories about ghosts that I have experienced. Thanks for watching this video. How did you like this story? If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. If you have any feedback on this video, please leave me a comment down below. I'll see you in the next video.